What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Agrarian Skies 2. Oh yeah, so did I ever show you guys the mushroom thing that I set up here? I don't remember if I did or didn't. Anyway, this is what we did. We used dark glass, the same stuff we use for like the mob spawners and things like that to prevent light from coming through. So the mushrooms are in complete darkness now. We were spawning mobs in here, so I decided to put down a magnum torch. Yep. The magnum torch prevents mobs spawning in like a 64 block radius. So I think that's fine being like over here. And I think it might be far enough away from this where it still allows the mobs to spawn. If not, we are using the cursed earth down below, which I think still spawns mobs regardless if there's magnum torches or not. Either way, I can still see there's mobs below me that have been spawning in here, so I know this is still working. So yeah, magnum torch is preventing mobs from spawning in the mushroom area, and we are collecting mushrooms pretty good now. Not nush, we want mush. Yeah, we have almost 4,000 of the red and the brown ones, which is awesome. Okay, so I've been doing some stuff off camera here. One of those things I've done is I finally upgraded our mysterious magnet here to a tier 8, level 8 magnet. That's the highest one we can get. It's something that I want to do for a while. And so I have made patterns for all these different things and crafted it. It required a whole heck of a lot of quartz and a lot of end stone. So I went to the end with our bound pickaxe and I collected some end stone. And yeah, I've been pulverizing some nether quartz over here. I guess this is all finished. Yeah, I filled up this chest full of this stuff, and I had it exporting to the back over here. Anyway, yeah, so that's all done. Nether quartz, we're down below 10,000 of this stuff now. But yeah, we got plenty of the quartz left over, so I'm not worried about that at all. You might have noticed in here where I was showing you the patterns that we got a lot of blank space. I've just added in 2 more assemblers down below here, so now we have a total of 4. Not really sure if we're ever going to add in these other 2. We got room for them, but I don't know if we're going to add them in. But yeah, I went ahead and added these guys because we were running out of space for auto crafting. And I had to rearrange some wiring down below. Before we had this one dense cable running with the P2P over here and powering these guys, giving them their data channels. We also had the same cable running down below and getting the data for our deep storage units that have a lot of the stuff on there. And I think there was just too many channels going on. It seemed like this cable was fully white or whatever, like it was using all the different channels. So I added another cable here. This is now on its own P2P that's running through that same line that's coming down here and powering this one that's doing all the deep stores. And then this guy right here, the middle one, is running the crafting stuff only, so you can kind of see the separation of how many channels the deep storage units are using, how many channels our crafting stuff is using. So I thought that was kind of cool. Another thing, people were telling me in the comments that I should use the colored cables, right? So I did that. I swapped out this line for the red cables. I told you guys I was going to change them out for the colored ones, and I did. But as it turns out, it really doesn't prevent them from connecting. There's like almost no point in doing this as far as I can tell. So we have like these red glass cables I was using and these glass cables, and you set them down. This is just something I wanted to show you guys because I don't really ever use these colored ones. So you set them down and they connect just the same. So yeah, that doesn't really help out. So I was looking at these cables and I saw there were covered ones. Man, I'm just knocking out all the blocks, aren't I? Place. So there are these covered cables. Let's grab rose red, one of those, and we will make 8 of these guys red. And it's the same thing with these guys. So we can set down the red ones, we set down these, and they still connect to each other. So it doesn't really help that you change the color. Like the color coding is really only so, as far as I can tell, the color coding is only so you can understand what cable is doing what, like for our P2Ps down below. If I wanted to color this little loop right here red, so I know that this is just specifically transferring power, that would be a good reason. But honestly, I can look at this and tell exactly what that's doing because we have the quartz cable there. So I don't know. I think the colored cables might help, like if you're doing like a lot of crazy stuff and you're trying to keep your cables in order or something. But for what I'm doing, I really don't find that too much useful. So yeah, it would be nice if they did separate and they were like the red would only connect to red and the Fluix would only connect to the Fluix, but that's not the case as far as I can tell. Maybe I'm not thinking things through. Do you guys know something that I don't as far as keeping these cables separated? It seems like the cable anchors and the, what are those? The facades are the only ways to separate the cables as far as I know. But anyway, let's move on from the applied energistic stuff. Today we were, well, I guess last episode we were running low on power. And I've been doing a lot of stuff here. Had the world loaded for a while. Trying to get this to be full again. Looks like this one side has filled up. Yeah, now we're working over here. But yeah, we're taking quite a long time to fill this back up. And we drained this really, really quickly. So we need a better way to keep our power up and running. So I think we're going to start looking at the Big Reactors mod. Now there's a few different ways we can do Big Reactors. We can do the passively cooled one, which is just you set up a big reactor and that produces power and that's it. And then there's also the actively cooled one, which you set up the big reactor as like a steam producer and then it does turbines. We might look into that a little bit later. I think for now we're going to do the passively cooled one. So let's do Big Reactors. Actually, let's do it up here too because I know we made some stuff. Big reactors. Yeah, we got some reactor casing, a yellorium fuel rod, controller, control rod, power tap, access port, coolant, red net port, and yeah, we have some crafts for these. I guess I made those a while ago. Okay, so that's nice. Red net port. I'm not sure if we're gonna need coolant port. Would be for the actively cooled, and I don't think we're gonna do that just yet. We might do that. I don't know. It just depends on how much power we need. So the access port is how we put in the yellorium and we remove the cyanite, the spent fuel. So we're going to need another one of those. So let's craft up one of these. Looks like I have plenty of stuff in the system for that. Power tap, we only really need one, unless we're going to be doing the turbines, and we'll need one for each of those. Control rods. Yeah, I don't know how big of a reactor we're going to do. Let's go ahead and do like 5 control rods. We'll start kind of small. Whoops. Yeah, we'll start kind of small. If we need to expand out, we'll be able to do that. Okay, so there's that, and the reactor controller, you only need one of those. So now we're going to need a bunch of reactor glass and reactor casing for like the outside of this thing. I really don't know how much we need. If I remember correctly, the reactor glass uses the casing in the recipe. So I guess I will make up a bunch of the reactor casing. Let's do like 100 of those. Okay, we're out of steel ingots. Okay, I didn't realize steel was part of that recipe. Let's take a look at this then. So the reactor casing, steel ingot, and graphite. So how do we make steel? So nether pig iron, we probably have that stuff in the system. We can use an infernal blast furnace. All right. Nether pig iron. So if we use rich slag, we can get 3 out of it. We can probably do the same thing with the QED and get 3 out of it too, I think. How do we get molten steel? Is there... Yeah, let's see. What can we melt down? I know we can do like the chain armor and stuff to get this. Yeah, it looks like just a bunch of steel tools. I was kind of hoping to find some steel dust or something we can create. It doesn't look like we can. All right. Steel nuggets. Is there a steel plant that we can make? I don't think there is. Okay, so nether pig iron. Do we not have any pig iron? No. So what were we left with? We have to do the infernal blast furnace, I think is probably our only option for getting large quantities of steel. We also have all this chain armor over here. We have a lot of this stuff that we can get steel out of. Like if we take all these different pieces and combine them together and smelt them down in the smeltery, we should be able to get steel this way. So tell you what, I might do this, just combine a bunch of these things, melt them down, get our steel supply going. If we still need more than what I can get out of this stuff, we will look at doing an infernal blast furnace. So let me go ahead and combine these up, and we'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I combined all of our chain armor up and I smelted it down in our smeltery, and after everything was said and done, we had 13 blocks of steel plus 5 ingots, which was about, I think, like 80 something, 89, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, no, I'm sorry, it was like a stack plus 54. So it was almost 2 stacks of steel that we got, which isn't a whole heck of a lot, but I crafted up some more reactor casings and some yellorium fuel rods. Both of these are using our steel. And we are now down to 19 ingots, which is not a whole heck of a lot remaining. So we might have to look at that infernal blast furnace to make steel pretty soon. So we have a lot of stuff together here. I think it's about time we start hooking up this big reactor and see what we can do. I think we're going to set it over here. Yeah, this is what we're going to do. So we'll set up the reactor casing here. I don't know the exact layout that we want. Probably, since we have 5 of those, we're going to do something like this, maybe a 5x5 or 7x7 for the reactor layout. We'll have 1 rod in the center, like so. I don't think you want them right next to each other, if I remember correctly. I think if you put them like this, they can react with each other and it increases the output. So I think we're going to just do a simple thing like this. So we will have to make the base of this bigger, and we are running low on the reactor casings because, yeah, we're going to need some steel. Oh, man. Okay, we'll do that. We got 9 left, which is not a whole heck of a lot. We do have to use these casings for the sides, the corners, or whatever. Yeah, we're going to need a lot of steel to get this thing going. I thought we were going to be able to avoid doing that, but no, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so we'll have these like that. We need the control rods on top, like so. Yeah, and we'll have to put in the different items we want, like the reactor controller will probably stick right here in the center. We'll need a power tap somewhere that we can extract the power from, maybe on the back, since it's not super necessary to look at that. We'll need a place for the yellorium to go in, and a place for the cyanite to come out. And then we can oh no, outlet mode. Okay, so now we got, yeah, yellow goes in, blue comes out. We need a lot of steel, a lot more steel to finish up this reactor. Yeah, I was thinking we'd be able to just knock that thing out with the steel that we made from all the chain armor, but no, we cannot. Okay, so I don't think I've ever used the infernal blast furnace before, and it sounds like it's a Thaumcraft thing. So let's figure out how to make an infernal blast furnace. Alright, so I found the infernal furnace. I don't know if this is the same thing as the infernal blast furnace, but I went ahead and I put together one of these since we needed this anyway to make those nuggets and things that trade with villagers. So in order to make one of these, we have to put nether brick on the 4 corners and then everything else obsidian for the first layer. And then 3 obsidian and some more nether brick, iron bars on the front and lava in the center. And then to cap it off, kind of like the bottom, except we have an empty space in the center. So I went ahead and I laid that out here, and I have some lava on me, so we can stick that right like so. And then it says that we need to click it with a wand, and we needed like 50 V of stuff. I don't have a wand on me. Let me grab one. Guess we'll just try. Is this one gonna work? The scepter? Maybe the scepter will work. I don't know. It works. Okay. So that looks a little evil. Yeah, right on. So I know we can do like arcane bellows to make this thing go faster or not. What I'm curious, is this all we needed to make the steel? So it said iron in the infernal blast furnace. Let's just put 1 in there. Whoops, we gotta turn off the magnet. Is that all we do? And when it's done, it spits it out, but unfortunately, this doesn't have like a progress bar or whatever to let you know if it's doing anything. I might have just done something wrong in there. Is that stuff just sitting? I saw it just go down into that lava. I don't know if that item is destroyed or not. Doesn't look like it's doing anything, does it? So if I turn my magnet back on, nope, we don't get those back. Maybe it takes a minute for this thing to work, or maybe we need another machine. Alright guys, so I waited around for a little while and this thing wasn't doing anything with that iron, so I think this is the wrong machine, but I can throw chicken in there and it, you know, sinks down into lava and then that gets smelted and it gets spit back out as cooked chicken, so I mean the machine does work. But yeah, this is not the Infernal Blast Furnace as I thought it was. So yeah, that's not gonna work. So I was looking through the Thaumonomicon a little bit more. Let me quickly eat some brains here. There is an Infernal Blast Furnace. Yep, right under Witching Gadgets. So this is something new that I didn't know about. I mean, obviously I went through and I unlocked all this stuff, but I didn't look at every single thing, so I didn't know about it. So, Mystical Construct. So, it's kind of the same thing. It's nether bricks on the bottom layer with obsidian in the center, obsidian on the corners for the middle layer, and then the rest of soul sand. And then nether brick stairs around the top with lava in the center. So, it's slightly different layout. And it says that the stair blocks have to be facing towards the center block with the corners connecting. So, I went ahead and I laid it out over here. And that's what we're looking like. So I haven't tried this yet. So we will throw in a bucket of lava in the center right there. And then I assume we just click it with the wand just like the other one. We have plenty of stuff left. Maybe not. Maybe the stairs have to be facing the other way. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have everything else laid out correctly. Let's try swapping these stairs around. Turn the magnet back on so I don't lose any of these things. Yeah, it said the stairs had to be facing towards the center, but maybe they have to be facing away from the center. I don't know. Like I said, I've never done this before, so all I can do is what the book tells me to. Like so. And we'll put the lava in the center. Maybe that's what we had to do. Ah, okay. Well, that works. Got it. Well, if it says the stairs need to be facing the center, that seems to me like that's the stairs facing away from the center. I don't know. I guess it just depends on how you look at it. But anyway, there's no interface. I can't right click on this thing, so it doesn't do anything as far as I can tell right now. What happens if we throw iron into this machine? Looks like lights have turned on. Looks like we have a spot for bellows. But where does the resulting material go? Does it just throw it out into the world? Can I right click on this thing now? Nope, there's nothing to click on. Okay, I might have to do a little bit more research on this machine and figure out what it is. It might be that it takes 20 minutes for it to cook up each individual piece of steel. So yeah, let me go ahead, do some more research, and we'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so the Infernal Blast Furnace is making steel from iron. It just takes a little bit of time. So I went ahead and I made some arcane bellows, and I have those connected to all the little bellow ports. Now on the standard Infernal Furnace over here, the bellows go in the center block. Well, that's where the little thing is that they attach to. There's also a little spot below that they attach to as well. There's another little spot underneath. So I have another bellow down there. So this one uses 4, that one uses 4. This one just uses them all along the bottom block there, not on the very bottom of the machine. I did hook up underneath these furnaces a transfer node with some world interaction upgrades and some speed upgrades. That way, whenever these machines spit out an item, they just go into the world. That thing sucks it up and it will stick it right into this chest. That's what happened to my stone block here. So, like for instance, I threw in a stack of iron blocks into this machine. You saw it just blinked, but where's the item? It's because it goes right here into the chest. So we have 13 blocks of steel here. I already pulled out something like 25 of them. And that's what I've been using to work on our big reactor over here. So I went ahead and I laid out the frame and made some of the reactor glass. And now the next step is to actually put the coolant inside of here. So I smelted up a whole bunch of ender pearls. We got, what was that, 76 buckets worth? Yep. So we need a new bucket. Right, like so. And we are just going to use this stuff for the coolant in this big reactor. We don't have to fill in every single block, but in order to make it look nicer, I'm going to, so we don't see as much of this stuff flowing around. Again, it's not necessary. I think you could just place like one right here and it will cover those 3 blocks. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in because we have the extra stuff at this point. I'm not trying to be stingy on resources. So one thing that I do want to see with this big reactor is how much power does it make? I know there's different config options and I haven't looked at them, but I know you can like bump up the power in different mod packs or turn it way down, make it so it uses a whole heck of a lot of fuel and not a lot of power, or make it so it uses very little fuel and produces a crazy amount of power. I don't know how this mod pack is set up, if it's just using the defaults or what, but we will figure that out here in a little bit. I think that we need a spot right there. Okay, and one there. I think we're gonna need one more over here. Like so. Right, so now it's all solid on top. Awesome. And that flows down and that provides the coolant for this guy. So I have a little bit more reactor glass here, so we can go ahead and fill this in and complete our multi-block structure. Like so. There, 3 more, and there we go. So now everything's solid, and there is our big reactor. Right on. So we have some stuff here, the interface. Energy buffer, it can hold, what is that, 10 million RF? I think that's 10 million that it holds inside. Yeah, that shows the casing heat and the core heat and how much fuel we have in there. So this will also show us like the efficiency, how much yellorium is using per tick, and the reactivity. The higher this number, the more power you're making for your fuel, which is good, so you want this to be high. Okay, so I think we're about ready to give this thing its initial first run. I'm curious how much power this is going to make. So let's grab some of our yellorium that we've been collecting. And we put the yellorium in here. Okay, so that went down to 4 ingots. Filling up the rest of our fuel rods in there with the extra, and we'll put in a little bit of a buffer. So now we have to come over here and tell this thing to actually turn on. And this is making 5,000, 6,000 RF a tick. 7,000 RF a tick. That's pretty good. I think down below our engines, down here, those are 640 each, and we have 10 of them. So we're making 6,400 RF a tick, right? So this guy right here with just this little setup is making 7,000. That's more than what our biofuel is doing down there. So just by setting this up, we've more than doubled our power production, which is awesome. So if we grab a tesseract, like so, and we stick this guy on our power tap, and we do, what was that? I can't remember. Whoa. Light suddenly becomes overwhelming and burns my skin. Well, that's not good. Guess I need to, wow, like everything's all crazy bright. Turn down the contrast. Okay, so I need, where am I going? Down here. I need to do the bath salt thing to try and get rid of this. Bath salts. One of these. Oh, we're on fire. Click it. Nope, don't click it. Just do it. There we go. All right, we should be fine. Warp ward. But yeah, we got like 3 minutes of dealing with being on fire. Okay, that's fine. This is crazy looking though. Oh, if you hit F1, everything looks normal again. Interesting. Okay. So what were we doing? We were going to find out what channel it is that we are sending power from this over. So this is frequency 999. So that's what we want to set this guy to. So we'll do 999 and we'll set this thing to energy mode send only on that channel. Okay, so now our power supply has more than doubled, so we should be seeing this thing fill up quite quickly now. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's going up really fast now. Okay, so now we've more than doubled our power supply. I wonder if I were to come over here to our DNA thing that we were working on, if we turn this thing back on. Oops, we're on fire again. There we go. Let's grab another flux duct. Now, if we turn this thing on to make more DNA, we are making DNA, right? This thing's going. Yeah, this thing is all powering up. So I'm curious, with that thing going like that, are we still draining power over here? Or are we still gaining power? Yeah, we're draining a lot because those actually have the 10 million RF buffer in them. But that's not draining super fast. I wonder when those buffers fill up inside those machines, if our energy is going to be okay or if we still need to go bigger. So let's go ahead and wait for that to happen, and we will check back on our power. Alright, so I just checked all of our DNA extractors, and they are now full. Their reserve power, 4 million, is full in all of them. And we are still using our power at a crazy fast rate here. So we still are not making enough power. So I might go ahead and expand out our big reactor over here. So this was what, a 5 rods in there? We might expand this out to be 2 more. And we can add in another, I don't know, was that like 8 more rods or something? Be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think 8. We could try that and see how that works as far as power production. But right now, that is not too bad. We could also convert this thing over, like I was talking about earlier, to be an actively cooled one. So it's only producing steam, and the steam will turn turbines, and the turbines will produce a lot of power for the same amount of fuel. We could try that, but we might do that another time. I think what I'm going to do, first of all, let's expand this out 1 more. So it's a slightly bigger. We'll use up a little bit of this resonant ender. We'll make everything just a little bit bigger. Try that out, see how much power we make, and we'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so I went ahead and expanded out the big reactor, so it's 1 bigger on all sides, and we put in the 8 more cores. So we got a lot more power here than what we had before. I think that's over twice the amount of fuel rods. So let's go ahead and kick this thing on and see what we're doing as far as power production goes. Okay, so now we're up to 16,000 RF a tick, which is pretty awesome. We're going to go up higher? We might go up higher. We might be hitting 17. This thing warms up a little bit. No, we're going to do 16.9. Is that what we're doing? Okay, so it looks like we're holding steady at about 16.9 thousand RF a tick. So that's pretty cool. I like it. Before, when we had the reactor going, by the way, we made enough for 1 cyanite ingot. So the fuel efficiency isn't too bad. We're definitely going to have to keep an eye on this. If we're making that much power, that is a heck of a lot of power compared to what we've been using. So, yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that so we're not just wasting power. Make sure that our batteries are still being stocked. But, you know, if our batteries are full, we don't want to be making that much power. We want a way to turn that thing off. We'll have to figure out a way to do that in this mod pack once we get to that point. But yeah, I think this might be pretty good. So I think we're going to do another test. I'm going to hook up the DNA machines and see if that is going to be enough power going, or if we still have to go bigger or whatever. We might just have to make our batteries bigger. I'm not really sure at this point. I mean, we can make this thing taller. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We might just have to go to turbines, and that just might be the final step that we do. But yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more off camera here, do a little testing, and we'll be right back, guys. So I've been checking on our DNA extractors over there and how much power we are making here. We're still not making enough, but we're almost there. At daytime, with our solars going, our bioreactors going, our big reactor going, we're still draining a bit, but this is going to last a long time. So we have to go through this battery, then we have to go through this side, and we have to go through this side, and however long that's going to take, that's probably going to be a few hours before we would drain our entire battery at this point. So I think right now our power is at a point where we don't have to worry about it too much. Obviously we're not gaining power, but we're losing it at a very slow rate, so I don't think we really have to mess with this too much right now. I think we are good with this many of the reactor control rods in there, the yellorium fuel rods, and all of that. The only thing I really have to worry about is make sure that we're keeping up with the yellorium intake, which, you know, it's not too bad right now. I mean, for more of the cyanite, yeah, probably just like a hopper with the chest on the side filled up full of the yellorium will be enough to keep this thing going for many, many, many hours. But yeah, we're bouncing between 7.0 or 17.0, 16.9 KRF a tick, which is awesome. So our power situation is now under control. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, we can now finish up our quest that we were starting last episode. Just gotta wait for things to process, things to happen, and we should be able to take care of those next time. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this episode of Agrarian Skies 2. Hope you guys liked it. Leave a like on the episode if you did, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.